Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Alejandro Garnacho sends Bruno Fernandes six-word Man United message after Europa League heroics. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes was the hero for Ruben Amorim on Thursday during the Reds' 4-1 win over Real Sociedad. Alejandro Garnacho has sent a message to Manchester United's hat-trick hero Bruno Fernandes after his heroics against Real Sociedad. Ruben Amorim's side were under huge pressure heading into their Europa League last 16 second-leg clash against Sociedad at Old Trafford. The Reds are almost certain to miss out on qualifying for Europe through the Premier League, meaning that winning this season's Europa League is their only opportunity to avoid no European football at M16 next term. United got off to the worst possible start on the night, going 1-0 down through a Mikel Oyarzabal penalty, which put the visitors ahead 2-1 on aggregate. But Reds captain Fernandes came to United's rescue with a hat trick, which included 2 penalties, while Sociedad were also reduced to 10 men for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. Diogo Dalot also netted on the night to make it 4-1, sealing United's progress to the quarterfinals 5-2 on aggregate. And Argentine winger Garnacho has recognized Fernandes's heroics, which have set up a last 8 clash against Lyon next month. The main man. Quarterfinals next. He posted on Instagram alongside a picture of him with Fernandes holding the match ball. The Portuguese responded in the comments with, "What an assist!" after Garnacho played a role in his goal, which sealed the hat trick to make it 3-1. Amorim has called on United's players to help Fernandes win trophies as the 30-year-old continues to carry the Red squad on his shoulder amid a difficult campaign. "We already spoke about Bruno a lot of times," he said post-match. "We know that sometimes he is frustrated. We know he wants to win so badly, so when things are not going well, he is changing position going after the ball. Sometimes he needs to trust his teammates, but when we need it, he is always there. He can bring the ball forward, he can score goals, he can defend. He is a perfect..." Sir Jim Ratcliffe sends Sheikh Jassim freshman United takeover claim. Sell it to Qataris. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos won the race to invest in Manchester United ahead of Sheikh Jassim and the 9-2 Foundation. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has jokingly acknowledged that he would sell the minority stake Ineos own in Manchester United to the Qataris or something, if he did not believe they could sort the club out. Sheikh Jassim, the chairman of Qatar Islamic Bank, QIB, notably bid to buy United the same year Ratcliffe's Ineos became minority owners. However, the son of former Prime Minister of Qatar Sheikh Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber bin Mohammed bin Thani Al Thani withdrew his bid from the process after months of negotiations. Ratcliffe has now, albeit candidly, suggested he would sell to the Qataris. However, he prefaced that by saying it would only happen if his belief dissipated. The comments came when joining Gary Neville on the overlap. "Change requires some unpopular decisions," Ratcliffe acknowledged. "And I have to accept I'm going to be unpopular. I don't know how long I'll be unpopular. Maybe I'll be unpopular for a long period of time, but I think it's worth being unpopular to fight our way through the changes that are necessary to get Manchester United back to where it should be, and hopefully, the attitudes will change a bit if we come out the other side with a successful outcome." Ratcliffe continued, "I think ultimately, we'll come out of this difficult period, and we'll find ourselves in a much sunnier place, I do. I mean, otherwise, I couldn't deal with what I'm having to deal with at the moment because it's not very nice when you go home to Manchester, and you've got people saying some quite unpleasant things. That's not very nice. I don't need that really, to be honest, at my age." He then clarified, "I'm doing this because I really like Manchester. You know, Manchester United's been my boyhood club, and I believe that we can sort it out. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't do it, would I? I'd sell it to the Qataris or something. But I think we'll get there with Manchester United." Rio Ferdinand sends Bruno Fernandes message as Man United legend makes thinly veiled Roy Keane dig. Bruno Fernandes has been heavily scrutinized recently despite his bold performances for Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand has leapt to Bruno Fernandes' defense following Manchester United's 4-1 win over Real Sociedad in the second leg of the UEFA Europa League round of 16. The 30-year-old midfielder fired the Red Devils to glory at Old Trafford on Thursday night, netting a hat-trick. Mikel Oyarzabal put the visitors ahead inside the opening 10 minutes, beating Andre Onana from 12 yards. A few moments later, United were also awarded a penalty. Fernandes pulled one back for Ruben Amorim's side to level proceedings. The Portugal international scored his second spot kick of the tie shortly after halftime to give the Red Devils the lead. Then, as Real Sociedad pushed for an equalizer, Fernandes completed his hat-trick and Diogo Dalot added his name to the score sheet in the final minutes. United waltzed away from the tie 5-2 victors on aggregate, securing themselves a place in the quarterfinals where they'll play Olympique Lyonnais. After the game, Ferdinand paid tribute to Fernandes on Instagram. The Red Devils legend leapt to the club captain's defense, having recently faced criticism from Roy Keane. Ferdinand said, "Bruno is our problem, they keep telling us." Speaking on the Overlap podcast last month, Roy Keane got into a heated argument with Ian Wright about Fernandes. The former United captain said, "Save us? They're 15th in the league and he's saving them? Praise the Lord. You have to have a starting point. I go back to it all, talent is not enough. Bruno's a talented player, but talent's not enough." Wright attempted to defend Fernandes, but his comment further angered Keane, who added, "You talk to me about who you were in a dressing room with. Tony Adams was this, Tony Adams was that. Yeah, because he was a fighter. Bruno's not a fighter. You've got young players. You have to look at somebody and go, I like what he does. They all can't put the ball in the top of the net from 25 yards, I get that. But you want someone who is going, lads? Are you with me?" Wright argued that United would be in the bottom 3 of the Premier League if they didn't have Fernandes. And suddenly red mist descended on Keane. The Irishman shouted, Yeah, of course. That's the captain we expect. Was Tony Adams the most talented player in that Arsenal dressing room? So, why do you look up to Tony Adams and go, listen, I've got a lot of time for him? And what did he do with his leadership? Leadership is action. Leadership to me is about action. Patrick Dorgu's immediate reaction to referee's Man United howler speaks volumes. Manchester United and Real Sociedad were given 3 penalties between them at Old Trafford, and the Red Devils thought they had a 4th only for Patrick Dorgu to make a gesture of fair play. Patrick Dorgu played a part in Manchester United's late penalty against Real Sociedad being chalked off with an extraordinary gesture. The Red Devils beat the Spanish side 4-1 on Thursday night in the Europa League, sealing an aggregate success, and with it a place in the quarterfinals. Most action came from 12 yards as Mikel Oyarzabal netted an early penalty, with Bruno Fernandes replying with a spot kick of his own. The Portuguese playmaker then scored a second penalty after halftime. United thought Fernandes had the chance to seal a hat-trick from the spot late on as Dorgu tripped over after a challenge from Hamari Traoré, albeit there was very little contact. Referee Benoit Bastien initially pointed to the spot, but he quickly changed his mind upon a VAR check. Dorgu appeared to have plenty of say on the decision as he walked up to the official and said, "No penalty." On the gesture, United boss Amorim said, "It depends. Is the right thing to do so, I'm quite proud of him. I cannot say if it's 0-0 or losing I have same response. He did a great performance. In that position he had the physicality. He is clearly able to play in our league." That gesture certainly earned praise from fans, who took to social media with their thoughts. One supporter said, "It's a shame this kind of thing is so rare in football. Brilliant sportsmanship." While another added, "Great sportsmanship. Good kid." Another wasn't totally convinced though. They said, "Good sportsmanship for owning it, but he blatantly dived and probably knew he wasn't getting away with it," alongside a laughing emoji. Former Man United coach René Meulenstein also hailed the defender for his actions, as well as his performance. Speaking on BBC Radio 5 Live, he said, "You can see more and more why Amorim wanted Patrick Dorgu. He gets in good positions, he has a good cross on him, and he could have won another penalty, but it wasn't given." The chalked-off penalty was not the only incident that Dorgu was involved in. He was also at the heart of the clash that saw Real Sociedad reduced to 10 men. A defense-splitting pass from Joshua Zirkzee found its way to the defender, who had a free run at goal. But he was then taken down by John Aramburu, who was quickly sent off. The cancelled penalty did not come back to bite Ruben Amorim's side either, with Fernandes sealing the match ball with a third goal late on. Diogo Dalot then got in on the goal-scoring action in stoppage time. United will hope there is less penalty drama in their next Europa League game, having already found out their quarter-final opponents. They will take on French side Lyon in the last 8.